All right, guys, what's going on? There's some breaking news in the college industry, and I wanted to come through with a YouTube video for you guys just so I can kind of explain what's going on and you can understand how this affects you for the future. So, basically, what happened is the Department of Justice, which is an arm of the federal government, declared that Yale has participated in discriminatory practices. Now, they say that basically Yale has discriminated against Asian Americans and white Americans in their admissions process, and that's in violation of a Civil Rights Act, specifically Title VI of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Now, these laws, and for many good reasons, carry major weight, and I think the seriousness of this is paramount. Yale is going to have to change the way that they evaluate candidates for the next year, and that's basically what the Department of Justice has instructed them to do. They've also instructed Yale to develop a plan to explain to you guys how exactly they're going to not continue to discriminate against Asian Americans and white Americans in the admissions process. I don't really know how I feel about this, to be honest. I mean, on one hand, you could say, obviously, discriminating against anybody is bad. But on the other hand, certain laws have been put into place to, benefit certain communities over the past, decades based on, things that have happened in the past. So I'm not really going to give my opinion on this because I really don't have one yet. I haven't formulated one. But I think this is major news for college admissions because basically what's gone on in the past is not going to be able to go on. But there's one big catch here. And the big catch is what happens in the election. It's already been predicted by several news sources that I've read that if Joe Biden does win the election, he will basically withdraw this complaint against Yale and things will continue status quo. Does this have to do with President Trump? Did he somehow have anything to do with this? That I don't know. But what they're saying is already, if Biden does get elected, he will actually remove this policy or remove this complaint against Yale. Are there complaints coming against other colleges? As you may have remembered, Asian Americans did sue Harvard. I believe that case is still going on. It's gone through various permutations in the past few months. But at the end of the day, Yale is in the forefront right now. Now, what exactly did they do? So what it's stated that Yale did is basically throughout the admissions process, they used race as a deciding factor for certain students throughout the process at different junctures. So obviously, as you may know, there's different junctures in the application process. It's not just like one step, you're just accepted or denied. You may go through different steps, different reviews. So what they're saying is in those reviews, race was used as a primary factor. Now, part of these laws and part of the case law, as an attorney, Nick the Tutor is an attorney, you probably didn't know that, but I am a licensed attorney in New York. Part of the case law, there's many famous cases that you actually learn about in law school pertaining to college admissions in college. They're not supposed to use race as a main deciding factor. There are many cases in the case law that basically say you cannot assign points to race. Like you can't say that a certain race is worth 5 points, another race is worth 4 points, another race is worth 3 points, so on and so forth. You can't do that. But what you can do is use it as a small consideration. Now, I'm going to go over the language specifically that they use in the Department of Justice complaint. Colleges that receive federal funds, government money, are able to use race, but only in a very limited way in certain circumstances. It cannot be a deciding factor. It cannot be a main factor. And that's exactly what Yale is being criticized for right now, that they're using it as a main factor. It's a deciding factor. It's not one of a number of factors that are being used. I'm sure they're going to come back and say it is one of a number of factors, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see what they come back with. I think that's going to be another breaking news from Nick the Tutor when they do, release some information as to what their data says and what their argument is. I think at the end of the day, if this does continue, if President Trump does win the election, this case will continue. They will be forced to change their practices, and that may change the outcomes for a lot of students on college admissions. We already have a wacky enough year. Throwing this into play really changes things, I think, especially for Yale, because they are going to be scrutinized heavily this year. So who knows what's going to be happening? I mean, these colleges, top colleges, are typically criticized for focusing on legacy applicants, very, very wealthy people and people of status. And, this kind of decision may actually further that. Who really knows? But I think my conclusion is changes will be coming to the college admissions process. The President Trump administration does have a vendetta against affirmative action, and we will see how that plays out in the next few months. If he does win the election, these types of changes may stick. If he loses the election, they probably won't. So definitely look out for more videos from me. Subscribe if you want more of this content. I'm going to be dropping more current events videos when I can. Hit that like button and comment down below. Did college just take a big L for removing this, or is this a W for a lot of people? What do you think? I mean, I'm not going to give my opinion on it. I don't have one yet, but I think at the end of the day, drop your opinion. I want to hear it, and we'll start a positive conversation to see if we can discuss, whether these changes are good or bad. Peace, guys.